Hello, back again to make another video. This one is more of like an intuitive feeling I have, I guess. And here we go. So basically, I think it's already quite obvious that I have a bit of an obsession with the idea of love or lust and sexuality. Hold on. I have to plug this in. Sorry. So I wanted to make a video kind of explaining how I feel about this topic in detail and what I've noticed. And this has actually come up in my consciousness within the last few months, and I kind of ignored it and pushed it aside because I felt like it wasn't such a big deal, but I'm starting to think that it might be a bigger deal than I really had pushed it off aside to be. And so I've been in a relationship for 4 years. My only friend, my best friend, kind of, I guess you could say. He's more of like a helper type. But I find it ironic. First thing I find ironic is how most guys that are looking for a relationship or they want love and all these things, they want to get married and all that, you know, first of all, you have to find a girl that's young to be able to impregnate her and, you know, take the small steps. This is, you know, not saying that they would get pregnant, but it's most often that people want like a young girl, and unless you're a young guy, then maybe it's different. Maybe you just kind of want to have fun, and that's your motivation, and it's not that you don't care or anything, you just kind of see past the bullshit, and you can kind of get what you want anyways. Well, not all guys, but some. But first thing I noticed is that these guys that are in their late 30s, 40s, sometimes even 50s, they want a girl or they love and like girls that are 25, 26, 27, sometimes even younger, sometimes a little older, usually not past 30 though. And they want the whole package, you know, but once they realize that they're not going to have the girl, you know, fall in love with them, then they kind of treat them like shit, and it leads to frustrations and immaturity and things like this, because you're basically feeding off of each other and you're not really respecting each other, even when the sex is kind of, I want to say, mutual wanting, mutual needing, but not as a forms of like deep transformative love. And so you end up in the same place over and over again, and it's like, it's amazing how you can never really get it right, because the guy somehow thinks that he needs a girl to have sex with to be able to motivate him and make money and all these things. And it's helping her as well, it's benefiting her. But when it comes to like this concept of falling in love, they try to play, most of these older guys, they try to play games in a sense because they don't really know how to do things naturally anymore, whereas they used to be able to. And I'm sorry that I'm so obsessed with this topic, but for some reason I am obsessed with it. And so what I've noticed is that we all want to find what's right for us, but our brains keep our minds keep playing tricks on us. So, well, my mind at least. And it'll tell me things like, oh, he's not the one for you. My boyfriend now. Oh, he's not the one for you. He's not. He wants a mature woman and you're not mature. And then the other side of me is saying, well, he's not mature either. And another side of me is saying, well, you could definitely fall in love with a young guy. And then the other side of me is saying, no, that would never happen because it would just be the same thing as you being like 40 and trying to get with a 25-year-old. And so that wouldn't work because you're already an old soul. So if you're looking for love based on attraction, based on youthfulness, that's never going to happen. And then another side of me is saying, you know, you need someone that is like, I want to say someone who will like let you free of all your control issues and kind of let you be who you really are, as opposed to this made up person that I pretty much have created with a sense of perfection and everything, because usually like feminist type women, they go because they don't have any idea of love, and they've been in a relationship where sex wasn't really love. It was in a really subtle way, but it wasn't like something that really changed their life. It was more like something that made it easier for them to live, in a sense, because they weren't alone. And so, like, feminist types, they're like, okay, well, I'm smart, and they try to play power games with, like, the older men, because they feel like it's almost like a power thing, because the older men have all this experience, have all these memories, all these things that they've accumulated through their lives, and you feel like, well, how am I a match to that? And so it becomes about power controlling, and it's a weird dynamic. And then looks come into play, and you're like, okay, well, I don't really see myself as naturally that attractive. Yes, I can put off an attractiveness about me. I can put my makeup on. I can eat healthy, exercise, these things that people have to do. Normal people, not all, I guess. And they make you feel good, of course. It makes you feel good to be healthy. It makes you feel good to look good. I mean, this is for not all people, but for me at least. And it's like, I'm not a match to any guy, it seems like. I wouldn't be a match to the young guys because they're looking for more of maybe like a young, youthful spirit, whereas I don't really have that. And then so, and also people that have the same interests as you. And the older people who have already gone through all the bullshit, you know, they're interested in having fun and all this. Whereas the young women who are smart and more perfectionist types, because they can't really give their all to someone, they don't know how to live selflessly, and they don't really think that they should give their all to a person that doesn't really inspire them to or anything. And so it becomes this never-ending cycle, and I don't know, like, I get offended when, and I get, not hurt, I don't get hurt, but I get offended and kind of pissed when my boyfriend plays games with me to, you know, and he probably knows that it's revving up angry feelings in me. So, like, but why is this happens all the time with us, but he goes, just manipulative things, like things where you're not being completely honest with each other, like, this is what I want, this is how I feel, this is what I know, and blah blah blah. Because what's amazing is about human beings that are not, like, at their highest potential, sometimes they forget what they know, and when they even speak to their boyfriend or girlfriend about what they know, sometimes they say their boyfriend or girlfriend just ignores it and acts like you never said it. And that's what's so messed up about people these days. So, for example, I could say what I know to be true, which is this is coming from, like, a higher source telling me these things. So, like, I could say, okay, say I like this young guy that's 25, or I think I love this young guy who's 25, and it's based on things like, oh, he seems intelligent, he is intelligent in my eyes, and he's very attractive, and he's, let's just say he's young. I like that he's young, so we're on the same level. And say you are physically attracted to each other only, basically, at first. So then, you're physically attracted to each other. So then, say you have sex with that person, and they end up meeting all of your spiritual needs. But you can't both have feelings for each other, because if that happens, it's a weak relationship, because one person is going to find something wrong with that, because somehow somehow they know that you have those feelings at first, but they know, because they're smart, in a sense, that if they show you feelings back, you're not going to approve of it, so then they just go away. And that's natural. And, but I find it weird how, like, we're obviously kind of designed to kind of have spiritual feelings towards people that are our same age or similar age. Whereas when a guy is older, we kind of see them as more of like someone who can just take care of us and this and that. And we still love them for who they are and everything, but we're not in love with them. So I could never be in love with someone who's already gone through their 20s and their 30s. It just doesn't really make sense on a spiritual level, because we all spiritually grow. So what I don't understand is how the time frames have changed in this millennium or something. Whereas what I mean by that is that people that are 25, 26 today want to continually be younger, yet something is always pushing them to be younger, because the older people, they really truly behave like they are 25, 26, the same age. And I'm like, okay, where did the discord happen? I mean, where did you guys go off course? Or is this something I did or people in my generation have? Because where did these older guys go off course in their lives? Or was it, or are they just playing games and we should all just continue playing games just for the fuck of it, just for the fun of it? That's what I want to know. Because I'm starting to think that it doesn't matter what I do but stay alive and but play this little game, because the superficial little game, whether or not my boyfriend is treating me well or not, because whose fault is it when he treats me like shit sometimes and harasses me and manipulates me to what? Rile me up, to what? Power trip me, to keep the game going or something, when I don't understand why women put up with this shit. Like, if you want to be a strong, independent, woman who wants to find a higher calling in life, potentially if there is one, then why would you put up with a guy who you're not in love with? I mean, I wouldn't. So, Team Alex, I mean, go, and if you have to, jump in front of a train. Like, I don't see what's stopping these women from saying, fuck this abuse I'm getting. I thought you wanted a beautiful woman who, yeah, has flaws, yeah, wants her space, but isn't going to give you what you want when it doesn't exist for you. Like, I don't understand. So, it just makes us all feel just egotistical and like, oh, we're all the shit because we can get past the young guy who we found out isn't the one for us, and then the older guy who we find out is also not the one for us. So when does this process end? Like, I'm just wondering, because I can't seem to help but think that the only way I could get out of this cycle of being obsessed over relationships is if I completely let myself go into the point where I'm in the hospital and I'm like, I give up on everything. I mean, is there any other women out there that feel that way? Because, I mean, I have O.C.D, so I think that's also a big problem with me and men, because they don't care about being, like, dirty, or, like, they want to have fun, they want to go out on trips and not care, and stomp their feet on the floor and get everything messed up. And I'm not saying that's every guy, it's just like, and I'm just like, I want it this way, I need my space, I need control, I need that. And like, the only way I could get out of that cycle, I need to wash my hands before I touch yours because you touched the steering wheel, and I don't know. It's just, that's just a form of like, kind of, it's just basically telling the guy that you don't really care about his feelings, really. It's all about you. It's all about me. So, when did it occur to these older men that they don't meet all the needs that it would take for a younger woman to fall in love with them? And even the younger ones, like, we're not capable of loving you guys either, because this is like basically war in a sense, no matter what age you are. So the ones that have already been there, done that in their 40s, and they're like, they're basically free to kind of give you control and everything, because as long as they're having sex and they're pretending like it's real love, then they'll do it. And I don't see, like, what is their definition of real love? Like, I feel like people need to start thinking about what the definition of real love is. What is the definition of real intimacy? And if you're an atheist, or you're a drug addict, or any of these negative things we perceive of as a person, then, what are you living for, really? And we really have to start thinking deeper into these subjects, I feel like, especially if it's one of the main things that is on your mind, or if it's one of your main, like, interests is relationship, is if your main interest is love. I mean, then, like, maybe we should start thinking more deeply about what sex means and what it's supposed to be about. And we should start thinking about, like, really thinking about who we are and figuring out who we are, so we can not become better and try to attract a better guy, because that would be wrong. See, if the way I am right now is who I am. Say, I've been in situations where all of a sudden I hit a certain level where I'm, like, spiritually awakened in a sense, and all of a sudden my vulnerabilities are just swirling all around me, and I'm like, I feel awakened, or I feel like I'm at a higher level. And I'm not at this low level that is really me, but I'm suddenly someone else at rare times. And I noticed in the past the much younger guys will, like, talk to me, and, you know, I know what they want, and not that that's what they want, but just saying, like, they're only there for you when you're at their level. And I feel like if we're all at different levels, what is moral about our relationships? Like, we're doing it for like, I understand if you are aware, but if you're not really aware and you're acting you're acting because of my foot just fell asleep. Sorry. But my foot just fell asleep. I'm fine. So basically, what I'm trying to say here. What I'm trying to say is that vulnerability for, like, a feminist type woman like myself is very aggressive. Like, it's not a positive thing. And so with my current boyfriend, I can be in any state and he'll love me regardless. But with a lot of other guys, I can't be in every state of mind or being, and they'll love me regardless. And it's funny how that is, because we're designed to want the best out of life, yet when we get what feels like the best, and it's really not, then we wonder, like, what is my life about? Who am I? What am I living for? And it goes all the way towards the fact that everybody has to hold to some sort of truth, and we all have to live by some sort of truth, and that's where things get complicated, when we got everybody running around with different motivations, different thoughts, different beliefs, different systems and whatnot, and we can't all come to, and we have to have, like, hate, and we have to have war, and we have to have poverty, and we have to have, you know, control, mind control, and games we play, all for what end? All for what truth? Because I still really haven't figured out what my truth is, my personal truth. Excuse me. And so I always just wonder, like, why I have to put my own needs first when I'm in a relationship with someone I perceive as more of like a power trip sort of relationship, where I could be better than him, he could be better than me, and it's never equal. So it leads to just sort of a strange dynamic, like I was saying. And so you don't have strong emotions for each other. Yet if I was to go and be with someone my same age and say we did have strong emotions, where would that lead us? Could it be something tragic? I mean, when you think about, like, actually real passionate love, that sometimes ends up in some sort of tragedy, it always seems like. And so it's almost like we're propelled by our desires, but we're called to help the world, and we don't want to help the world because our desires overseed our our basically responsibilities living here in America, especially where everything is so complex. And it's not like we can't participate, we can't get a job, we have to do these things. But the only way someone like myself would be able to, like, have a degree or get a job is if my desires were put completely aside, completely at rest. And that is something, to end this video, that I don't know how to do, that I haven't been able to achieve. And in pain, in happiness, in any state that I'm in, I'm never able to just say, I can put away all of the little fluttery butterflies that I feel for lots of people that I actually don't know, but I feel that for some reason my mind says this is something that seems very much intriguing, I guess you could say, and worth my efforts to think about. And I'm embarrassed to say that I don't think about my boyfriend hardly ever. I'll think about if he's okay sometimes, if he's happy or sad, what he's doing, if he's staying busy, if he's feeling well. Yes, I care about those general things. But more than that, I can't really say that I ever do. And that's been for 4 years. I never really have. And I feel like I have a moral responsibility to put my desires aside, to put my ego aside, and get to work, and even my vanity, put my vanity aside and get to work and do something that's helping the world, that's helping society. But I cannot seem to get past my obsessions with relationships. And how complicated they are, and why I want to figure it all out. And that's all I have to say. Maybe it will all work itself out in time, and I have nothing to worry about. But, you know. If you guys have any stories or any, like, similar experiences to mine, feel free to write a comment down below, and I'll get back to you. Otherwise, there's a snail on my window. Otherwise, have a nice day, and maybe I'll make another video tomorrow if I can think of anything interesting that hasn't already been said.